Hello and welcome to the Knitting on the Run podcast, where it's always knitting and fun in 30 minutes or less. Show notes can be found at windsweptknits.com. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as windsweptmonique, and on Facebook and Twitter as windsweptknits. This is episode 120, recorded on August 2nd, 2023. Hello and welcome back. I have a bunch of stuff to talk about this week, so we're going to get right into it. First up, I do have another finished object, which is kind of shocking. I think this is 3 episodes in a row, which is not like me. I have finished the first sock for thing 1. This is the sock, if you've been listening for a little while, this is the sock that I reknit 4 or 5 times and was originally his Christmas gift for this past Christmas and outgrew within a couple weeks. I am now making him a tube sock, or a set of tube socks, I should say. I'll measure his foot and add an afterthought heel on Christmas morning, but aside from that afterthought heel, the first sock is done. Yay! Works in progress. There are several. So first up, the Hitchhiker, which is I think number 8 or 9. I'm working this up in the discontinued line brand Shawl in a Ball. It's a very simple garter stitch shawl by Martina Baim, and I have less than 30% of the yarn left. It's very exciting. It's a 150 gram skein, and I am somewhere around 45 grams left, give or take. So coming along nicely. Very happy there. The Snowflake sweater scarf is also growing slowly but surely. I'm using Big Twist Heather in gray, bought at Joann's, and I'm almost to the central section. This pattern, if you have not seen it, it's by Knitatude, and it is a 14-inch sleeve, and then it wraps from your arm, it wraps behind your back, across the shoulders, and then across your front to that same shoulder, and then back to the other shoulder, the second shoulder, and then you have another sleeve. So this is a really fun kind of shoulder season, or, you could wear it, I suppose, in the winter over something else, but it's really a garment to be, put over your short sleeve shirt when the temperature starts to drop. And I'm excited because it's actually, the temperature's dropped by about 20 degrees here recently. Suddenly we're in the 70s, which is not August weather. August is usually one of our hottest seasons, and the past couple of days, it's getting downright cold in the mornings here. The weather has been really weird. More works in progress. The second sock for thing 1, the match to the one I mentioned earlier in finished objects. I have cast it on. I have finished the toe and just started on the foot. Next work in progress, not finished object, is the Summer Happiness top by Concept Creative. This is a very flexible garment that can be worn as a sleeveless top or a poncho, and I'm planning to wear it mostly as a sleeveless top. It's knit in 2 pieces and then seamed. I'm using 2 rainbow gradients of Shreepja's Whirl, 1 for each piece, and I've started it. The gradient is a rainbow color going from a pink to a blue. I've started in the pink, and then it's one of those 4-strand yarns where 1 strand changes at a time. And I've reached the beginning of the green. So the yellow is changing to green at this point. And I am very excited to see how this keeps going. I'm getting close to the end now. Or, well, maybe not close to the end. I'm probably at least 2/3 of the way through. And it's looking great so far. Last up, I have a new cast on. The sweater called Vivian by Ysolda Teague. I'm working this up in Lana Grossa Elastico, which is a cotton and elastic yarn that behaves more like an animal fiber than a traditional cotton yarn, so it's great for cables. Vivian is a very heavy cabled sweater. It's bottom up, which is something you probably notice I almost rarely do. I rarely work on bottom up garments. I much prefer top down. But I knit Vivian probably 8 or 10 years ago, and I really liked it. It's been such a long time since I've cast it on. It was before I started having kids. Actually, so I might have knit this 12 years ago. Excuse me. I'm blanking here. Yeah, I think I was pregnant when I finished it. And so after 2 kids, it just doesn't fit my current body shape. So I decided to make myself another one. And when I went to Webb's this spring, I bought yarn specifically to make this sweater. And I am thrilled with how it's turning out so far. I've started at the bottom, like at the hips, and I'm at the kind of the bottom lower part of the waist right now, and it's coming along very nicely. Spinning. Well, the Tour de Fleece is over, and I did complete by the skin of my teeth, like literally the last day. I completed my 4-ply of some old cheap cotton that I bought a pound of at a festival many years ago. This fiber is not my favorite to spin. It's actually pretty horrible, and it doesn't spin well, and it either tends to be overspun or underspun, and you know me, I spin cotton all the time. It's my favorite fiber to spin, and this particular cotton is driving me up the wall. But I finished it, I did it, I applied it, and boy did that, oh yeah, I thought I was going to lose my mind. The plies kept breaking while I was plying it. I've had that problem once or twice, but I've never had that happen dozens of times while plying before. I was about to go insane. It was driving me nuts. I didn't even ply the last maybe, 30, 40 yards. I'm like, you know what? Good enough. I'm done. It's not worth it. It's breaking so often. I don't actually care anymore. So I stopped, and I haven't measured it yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to dye it. It doesn't look great because the plies kept breaking so many times, but I might, just practice dyeing it, then make it into just, a garter stitch shawl or something that where you won't notice if there's a couple extra bumps in the yarn kind of thing. But it's done. Unfortunately, I still have over half a pound of yarn left, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this stuff. I really don't like it. Maybe I can find another way to use it. I don't know. We'll see. Out and about. Well, there are so many upcoming fiber events. When I started this section of the podcast, I was primarily advertising online events, and those are slowing to a trickle, if not, well, completely extinct, given, some of the unfortunate happenings recently in the yarn and fiber community. So I am going to refocus this section on upcoming fiber events in the Northeast USA, which is where I'm from. And ironically, it's one of the places in the US that I hear the least amount about. I hear about fiber festivals all over the country, but I almost never hear from the Northeast US except for the big two, Maryland Sheep and Wool and Rhinebeck, which, yes, people know about those. But there's so many other ones. So I am going to aim to cover some of the ones maybe you haven't heard of before. So here we go. Happening literally right now, and for the next 3 days, is the Interweave Yarn Fest in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I believe it ends on the 5th of August. Pittsburgh Creative Yarn Festival, August 24th through 26th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Endless Mountain Fiber Festival is coming up very soon, September 9th and 10th in New Milford, Pennsylvania. New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Fest is the same weekend, September 9th and 10th in Ringgoes, New Jersey, and I hope I'm pronouncing that one correctly. I could not find a pronunciation guide online. Western New York Fiber Festival, September 17th in East Aurora, New York. The Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival is going to be September 30th and October 1st in Tunbridge, Vermont. Freiburg Fair is happening October 1st through 8th in Freiburg, Maine. And of course, Rhinebeck, New York Sheep and Wool, October 21st, 22nd in Rhinebeck, New York. The Fiber Festival of New England will be held November 6th and 7th at the Eastern States Exposition in Springfield, Massachusetts. Maryland Alpaca and Fleece Festival will be soon after on November 11th and 12th in West Friendship, Maryland. And last but not least, Pennsylvania Fall Fiber Fest in November 18th and 19th in Leesburg, Pennsylvania. I've got sunshine. Well, my happy thing this week is museums. My kids are at my parents' house. They left today, and we're going to meet them up on Friday. I have all day tomorrow, and I'm going to head into Boston and go visit the Museum of Fine Arts all by myself. I rarely get to go to a grown-up museum, and I love going to museums. I lived in London, England for a time, and one of my favorite things was going to visit all the museums there or hopping on the train through the tunnel and then going to museums in Brussels or Paris for the day and then taking the train home again at the end of the day because I was broke and couldn't afford hotel rooms over there. I love going to museums, so I am so excited. I can go and stand in front of the Degas statue in the MFA in Boston and stay there and look at it as long as I want. I can go stare at the Monet paintings as long as I want. I can go up to the Japanese tea house, which I believe finally reopened after COVID, and not worry about my kid knocking something over, which is wonderful. I am so excited, and yes, I will bring my knitting with me. I'm really looking forward to this. I hope you are all having a wonderful August. I will see you again in 2 weeks. Have a great time and keep those legs and those needles moving. Bye-bye.